What has to be borne in mind is this: Bharatiya texts on spiritualism are the most ancient in the whole world. They are the earliest studies and discoveries of the Atma, on personal and impersonal God, and on codes of conduct, individual and social, based on those revelations and discoveries. In no other country, among no other peoples, have such ancient teachings seen the light. There may be, perhaps, some misty ideas or brief glimpses, but they do not deserve the name spiritual text or literature. The Vedic literature pictures not only spiritual inquiries by the sages and sadhakas and their results, but also their lines of thought, their yearnings and aspirations, their secular struggles and temporal problems.
Thank you very much. Sairam auntie, if you can read the Telugu.
Yeah. What has to be borne in mind is this.
Yeah, I think మనము ముఖ్యముగా గమనింపవలసినది ఆత్మ. I think.
మనము.
I think, I don't know if that's so earlier also, I think maybe.
కానీ భారతీయులు ఇతర మతముల I think this is a correct one.
Yes.
మనము ముఖ్యముగా గమనింపవలసినది ఆత్మను గూర్చియు.
But one of the things which we have to pay attention to is what it relates to Atman.
Atma. ఈశ్వరుని గురించియు.
What relates to Ishvara, the Lord God.
ఆస్తిక ధర్మమును గురించియు.
The dharma of having faith in God or faith in the Vedas.
జరిగిన విచారము.
That has to take place. Is that inquiry has to, that's the inquiry which has to take.
Yeah. ఆత్మను గురించి, ఈశ్వరుని గురించి, ఆస్తిక ధర్మమును గురించి జరిగిన విచారము.
So whatever inquiry which has taken place regarding Atma, Ishvara and Astika, that's belief in God or Vedas or dharma, that dharma has to be paid attention to.
Yeah. ప్రపంచ వాంగ్మయమున కూడా
In this, in the world, the speech which is present.
Arun.
Vangmaya.
వాంగ్మయమన eloquence சொல்லலாமா? Can we say?
Okay, eloquence, okay.
ప్రపంచ వాంగ్మయమున and what?
కూడా ప్రాచీన తమ
ప్రపంచ వాంగ్మయమును కూడా ప్రాచీన తమమైనది. It is the supermost తమ.
Yes.
ఆర్య వాంగ్మయము.
So Swami is saying, even in terms of in this speech, in the I think Vangmaya, can we say, auntie, it's the Shastras which are present also?
Yeah, Shastras you can say. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. The word, I think, can we say word? I don't know how to, I don't know what the translations.
Can we say witness?
Vangmaya, brother.
Vangmaya.
Witness.
Flow of language.
I'm thinking witness.
I think based on those revelations and discoveries, the translation, auntie.
Okay. That's, I think. So what word can we use here?
So I think I know whatever it's described by words. Why don't we say something like that?
By words. That's all.
In this world, whatever has been described in words, okay. Among all this, the supreme one, which is ancient,
is Arya
Vangmaya. That is the declarations of the Aryans.
ఇంతకన్నా ప్రాచీన రచనలు ఏ దేశముందను ఎచ్చటను లేవు.
There is no other ancient
literature
declaration. So literature is not present in any country or anywhere in the world.
ఒకవేళ ఉన్నను వాటికి వాంగ్మయ నామము చెల్లదు.
Even if there is something ancient in terms of declarations or scriptures, they cannot be called Vangmaya.
Okay. Yeah.
That's why they say, the translation says, they do not deserve the name spiritual text or literature.
Spiritual text. ఆర్యుల చిత్తవృత్తులు, వారి వాంఛలు, వారి వ్యవహార విషయములు, వాళ్ళ ఎదుర్కొన్న సమస్యలు మున్నగు సంగతులు ఇందు చిత్రింపబడినవి. So
what has been described in this is the
thought process,
the thought processes, their wishes, and their worldly dealings, as well as
their problems which they faced,
the challenges which they faced. And
they have been described here. They have been
and samasyalu munnagu,
సమస్యలు మున్నగు సంగతులు, ఎదుర్కొన్న సమస్యలు, etc.
secular struggles and the problems and how they dealt with, etc.
Munnagu is etc. We have to find out a proper word for Vangmaya.
I don't think in English there is because Vang, because Swami will say Vangmayi, that means Vak. Speech. What is speech? But when Swami says speech, it's the Vedas. What has been declared, I would say, the Ashta things, Swami says, Sabda Brahmamayi, Characharamayi, Vangmayi. That's what Swami will say. So Vang is the vibration or the knowledge which has been endowed on everyone as speech. I would say. But it's nothing but God, in other words, it's God or godly. I think that's why the word spiritual text or literature has been used.
Spiritual text.
Literature.
But there's no equivalent to
word. Yeah. So just to say that. Yeah.
So I'll stop here. We can discuss based on what anyone wants to share or discuss. Kalyani, I don't know whether we discussed the previous para also. I think when we left, I thought we read it. But that's my understanding. I may be wrong.
Sorry, Uncle, we already read this one, you mean?
No, the previous paragraph we read, but I don't know whether we fully discussed it, is what my view is.
Okay, I'll put up that one.
Yeah, sorry about it.
I think we.
Maybe we read it. Maybe we discussed. Sorry, Auntie. Sorry. I think Auntie, this is what we read, but I don't think we discussed. There was only 4 minutes left when we read 10 minutes. We read this, but I don't think we had any discussion on this.
Yeah.
We quickly summarized and moved on. So that's why I wanted to pick this up.
Bhartiyas did not go to any other thing for their knowledge. It's the supreme knowledge already. It is present in this Bharatiya spiritualism. So, in fact, others' faiths can learn from, others have learned it from Bharatiya spiritualism, and they have propagated their own religion and their faiths. Sairam.
Sairam, thank you very much, Auntie. So anyone would like to discuss, maybe Kalyani, if you can quickly read, I would say maybe it's good.
Yes. Another point. The source of all spiritual principles recognized and revered by Bharatiyas is God. He is the one supporting pillar. Therefore, no other support is needed for faith. Bharatiya spiritualism is the very foundation of all other faiths. It stands on the very summit. It has achieved victory over many opposing faiths, confronting them with many valid arguments and theories. Bharatiyas have no need to follow any religion or spiritual discipline besides their own, for nowhere else can you secure a discipline or truth that is not existing herein. Other faiths have only adopted some one or other of its beliefs and principles and placed them before people as ideals to be adopted.
That's it.
Thank you very much, Kalyani. So if, I don't know whether anyone would like to discuss any points in this, because we rushed through this last week.
I think it says, the first line, it says the source itself is God, as if if I remember during the Dharma Vahinism, I think the Vedas were, I mean, it's not procured from somewhere, it just intellectuals just got it on their own and they just spelled out and wrote somewhere. That's how the Vedas all came into the existence. So it's all some intuition given to them. They just recollected what they were getting thoughts and just wrote down. So that's how the Vedas came into picture. So maybe that's what he's referring to here. Like it's the source itself is a God, means some miracle powers gave.
Yeah. But Vedas were revelations.
Yeah.
The revelations from God, and nobody wrote it.
Yeah.
It's directly from God itself.
Yeah, I think Swami uses the word apaursheyam.
Portion.
It means it is not of human conjecture, it is what was divinely revealed. I think that Swami says. He's the one supporting pillar. I don't know whether we read the Telugu auntie. I don't know for this.
I don't think so.
I don't think so, no, brother?
Yeah, I don't remember.
I don't think, auntie, we can go to Telugu, Inkokati, Bharatiyuloka.
I do have the translation that we wrote for this.
You have the translation, Kalyani?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, then maybe. Then that's fine. So if everyone is okay, then we can move on. I just wanted to give a...
Yeah. Next paragraph.
If everyone is okay and no discussion is needed, we can move on. I think it's the next chapter now.
Yeah.
Okay, you can read, Kalyani.
Yeah.
The one alone. The very first experience in the history of Indian thought is the thrill of wonder. This is expressed in the rigs or hymns found in the Rig Veda, the earliest revelations of the Bharatiya mind. The rigs are all about the gods or the shining ones, the devas. Of these devas, there are many: Indra, Varuna, Mitra, Arjanya. These are the names of a few. They appear in these rigs, one after the other. Of these, Indra with the thunderbolt, Vajra, as his weapon, is the chief. He is the mighty one who confers rain upon the earth. Indra is called so since he is the master of the Indriyas, the senses of man. That is to say, he is the mind which handles the senses. He is also known as Puruhuta, Puru meaning often and Huta meaning invited. The entire name meaning the God who is most called upon. The mind, which is identified with Indriyas, since it masters them, is also adored in the Vedas as Rudra. The mind contacts the objective world and experiences it through the instrumentality of the five senses. This aspect of the mind is the Indra aspect. It has also another capability. It can master the senses and become aware of the universal inner truth of the multiplicity called the objective world. This aspect of the mind is designated as Rudra. This is the reason why the Vedas describe Indra and Rudra as one with two names.
Okay, thank you, Kalyani. Maybe Auntie, we can read the Telugu.
And the chapter's title is Eka Ishwaratvamu. Ekeshwaratvamu. It's called Ekeshwaratvamu. Eka and Ishwara. So it becomes Ekeshwaratvamu. Praprathmunane manakoka vinta bhavamu kanavachunu.
At the beginning, or at the start, for us, there may be a certain wonder.
Wonder. Vinta bhavamu kanavachunu. It can
It's
make
possible we could have a sense of wonder.
Iviye rukkulu.
These are the ruks.
Ruks. Anaga tejo rupolanu gurchinavi.
That means they are of effulgent nature.
Itti devullu anekulu kalaraniyu.
Among these devas, there are many who exist.
Indrudu, Varududu, Mitrudu, Parjanudu, Anunavi, Kontari Perlu.
The names of a few of them are Indra, Mitra, Varuna, Parjanya, etc.
Viru, okari venaka okaru kanipinturu.
These devas show up one after the other.
Ittivade, Vajravidudagu, Indrudu.
This person is Indra, who carries the weapon of Vajra.
Bhulokamunaku varshamu vachunattu chesina pratitudu.
He is the one who makes sure that there is rain on earth.
Anduvallana Bhartiyulu Indruni pujinturu.
Due to this, the Bharatiyas worship the Indra.
Indrudu anaga Indriyamulaku adipati aina manassunu Indrudani pilichiri.
Indra means the lord of the Indriyas or senses, which is the mind, is called Indra.
Itaniki Puruhutudani rendava peru.
For him, there's a second name called Puruhuta.
Puru anaga aneka paryayamulu.
Puru means many times.
Hutudu anaga ఆహ్వానింపబడువాడు.
Huta means one who is invited.
మనస్సునే ఇంద్రుణ్ణి రుద్రునిగా వేదములలో కీర్తింపబడినది.
The mind alone is sung as Indra and Rudra in the Vedas.
మనస్సునే ఉన్నే.
Manasane.
మనస్సు
The Indra, who is the Manas, is also praised as Rudra in the Vedas.
ఇంద్రియముల ద్వారా అనుభవిస్తున్నప్పుడు ఆ మనస్సే ఇంద్రుడు.
When we enjoy them or experience them through the senses, that mind is called Indra.
ఇంద్రియములను జయించి తాము వానిలోనికి సర్వాంతర్యామి తత్వం పొందుచున్నప్పుడు ఆ మనస్సే రుద్రుడు.
When the Indriyas or the senses are won over, and when one understands the Supreme Lord who is everywhere in the world, that principle, that mind is called Rudra.
అందువల్లనే వేదములోని ఇంద్రుడు రుద్రుడు రెండు నామములుగా వైభవము గల ఒకే దేవతని వర్ణించిరి.
Due to this, in the Vedas, the Indra and Rudra with two names, as to have possessing two names, gloriously, a glorious Deva is described.
Let's stop it. Okay.
So I think Swami in the previous paragraph stated, these are the earliest struggles of the Bharatiyas who encountered many challenges, and through this they learnt, and that the experience is described as Vangmaya. And then Swami is, I think, giving us an description of how it turned out to be. So Swami is talking about how Indra who was one of the first gods who was worshipped and so on. So I will stop here. If
Yeah.
anyone would like to discuss any point, please go ahead.
In the beginning, Indra, Varuna, Mitra, Parjanya, they were all the small devatas who were worshipped, and they thought they assumed high powers. So they appeared in Rik mantras, and people were afraid of these devatas, especially Indra, who brought. We remember the story when Indra brings rain for 7 days during Krishna Avatara. So they started worshipping these devatas. But Swami wants to say that these were in the beginning, this was the belief that Eke Ishwaratvam, the one alone, is to be worshipped. That's later on he brings this idea.
Thank you, Auntie.
Mm.
Anyone else would like to discuss any of the points?
So Swami saying Indra means the mind.
Yeah, Indra, Swami, it's not only here, Swami in many places has said that Indra is the mind.
Yeah.
And when he says it's Puruhuta, one who's invited many times, does that have any relation to the mind?
Arun, can I go?
Yes, Auntie, please go ahead. Please go ahead.
In the Yaga and Yagnas, the first Devata all these Devatas were invited to take the oblations which we offer. So especially Indra was invited many times, and he was called Puruhuta. And after having invited them, those Devatas have to be satisfied. So the mantras were, Rik mantras were used to praise them, and then Udgatri, that is the in a yaga, he is also present, Udgatri, who sings Samaveda. So he used to praise them in music, with the music notation. And this Rigveda always, it's a kind of prosaic order, in that the mantras are there. And in Rig, it is a poetical order. So these mantras were set to some certain rules, that certain meters, and the words were, exact words should be there in a line. All these were observed in Rig mantras. And then this Yajur mantra was Yajus, it was called. And in the Sama is called Sama mantras. So Ruk, Yajus, Sama. These are the 3 types of mantras which they often chanted to invite these devatas and worship them. But I don't know how it is connected with the mind. Puruhuta that's often invited Devavas Indra. And when we know that Indra represents mind, I think, can we say that we are using our mind and the senses to assist the world to get the ideas from the world? Can we say that mind is used several times?
Yes, Auntie. Again and again.
Again and again we are using.
Now
So
when we are
it may be
talking
that
about
connection is called Puruhuta. If I'm wrong, please correct me.
I don't know, wrong or right, they all say. See, I am reminded of the 6th Anuvaka of Chamakam, where Agnischama Indraschame, Somaschama Indraschame, and so on. With every other form of God, Indra is also God.
Right.
Because the belief is, without presence of Indra, even the other devatas are not powerful.
Okay.
In the same way, in our own existence, whatever we want to do, if the mind is not focused on that activity itself is failure. for whether we drive, whether we walk, whether any activity which take place. The presence of the mind is essential. Without that, so for every activity, mind is called upon to act. So Indra is that, he is the Lord of every sense, whether it's karmendriyas or jnanendriyas. He is the Lord. Without that, they cannot function. And Indra. So because of that, he is called upon to assist in every activity. So I think when we studied the Chamakam 6th Anuvaka, we discussed this. Because that's why Indra is called again and again for every point in time, so that the activity will be fructified. So which is mind, our mind. If it's focus, then we can do things. So I will stop here.
Just like how Indra used to be praised and glorified by the mantras of Sama mantra, Yajurveda mantra. So we always nourish our mind with lots of we cajole the mind also sometimes. So that's what is I think it means here.
Anyone else would like to share anything?
Sai Ram, brother, I'm just wondering, okay, Indra and Indriya, it represent mind, right? Master of your senses. And it's also saying that he's the mighty one who confers rain upon the earth. Does it have any relationship, rain and mind?
Yeah, just
because I know Indra, Lord Indra, how I know is, farmers back home or in India when there's drought, so they pray to Indra, Lord Indra. The Indriyas, it changes, becomes senses. So Indra, Indriya, I know if there is I'm trying to connect and make some sense.
Good question, sister. Anyone would like to share any thoughts, please? Swami has left it open, sister, for us to study it. But I think the rain is possible only when Indra graces the occasion. That's the belief. Without it, nothing fructifies. Even if you can plant the seeds, if there's no rain, it does not. So Indra holds the key to anything which has to grow, which has to take shape. The rain holds a lot of place. Without that, we can't live. Without rain, that's why all the ancients did yajna and yaga for rain. But without rain, there is no cultivation. Without cultivation, there is no food. Without food, there is no human being. So it holds the key for everything. Brother Prasad was trying to say something, I think. Please go ahead, brother.
No, I was just thinking the rain and mind. I was thinking maybe we can correlate with the thoughts coming from the mind.
Yes, brother. That's also true. Yes.
We need to focus the thoughts in the right direction.
Anyone else wants? See, Swami mentions the Vajrayudha. Okay. The Vajrayudha is the weapon of Indra. Anyone who knows what's the origin of this Vajrayudha?
Is it the Dadichi Maharshi's story?
Yes, auntie.
Please go ahead.
No, you can. I think someone else. Anyone knows the story? So I think so there was the story is there was a Rakshasa called Vritra. He had to be vanquished. He was so powerful. I think maybe as a precursor, I think I invite Sai Satish to talk about how Vritra came about or something. I'm putting people.
Sorry, Anna, I missed that question.
Who is this Vritra?
I'm
Okay, no.
I don't know if it
Okay.
involves Vitra and Twashta. No, it's better you tell, and
Exactly.
I'm
Yeah,
a little bit,
that's Twashta.
yeah. You're saying in terms of um, the chanting and yeah, for the story per se, I will just say that they're needed to destroy this demon. The requirement was to make a invincible weapon, and that was to come from the bones of sage Dadichi. So the devas, Indra and the other devas, go to sage Dadichi and ask, um, knowing very well that sage Dadichi has to cast his mortal coil aside for the purpose of giving up his bones, they place this plea in front of him, and he very willingly, I think, goes into samadhi and casts his frame aside, and then from the bones that they gathered from sage Dadichi, they put together this Vajraidam, which then Lord Indra uses to. I wasn't sure if it is Indra or Twashtana. That's why I didn't want to mention the name.
Twashta did the penance to get somebody to vanquish
Oh,
Indra.
that one you want. Okay, yeah. So the thing goes as in terms of the chanting. That's why they say this is very important in the way we chant. So Twashta was to chant the mantra as Indra Shatru Vardhasva, where we have the Udarta, Anudarta, and Swarita in a particular way, but he chants it as Indra Shatru Vardhasva. So the meaning of the mantra changes from may my son kill Indra, it becomes may Indra kill my son. The same words, but the intonations are chanted differently, which change the meaning of the whole sentence. And so finally, Indra ends up killing Twashta's son. And yeah, it highlights how Vedic intonations, while we may get even the words right, to draw upon the full benefit of what we chant, it is very important that we chant with the proper intonation. Okay.
Yeah, thank you very much. Because you had mentioned it once before. So that's why I thought I will ask you to say the story. Thank you. So the belief is Twashta got, because of the Vritra. Vritra became a Asura who was actually blocking the rains from falling. Okay. And he was also of the shape of a serpent or something. So the thing is, he had to be killed so that the rains can again come back and fertility can be restored in the world. Okay, that's the idea. So I wanted to mention that the Vajrayuta is nothing but the backbone, which is nothing but the spinal column of a rishi. Why the spinal column is also, it is powered by the Kundalini Shakti. So the thing is, our manas, for it to function, the Kundalini Shakti, which is supposed to go up and down the spinal column, is essential for every Indriya to function properly. So only when that is strong, when the spine is very strong, the mind will be able to effectively do everything in this world. So that's why it's considered a very powerful weapon. Vajrayuda means there's nothing which can break that. So the idea is the mind, which has a very empowered spinal column of the spine where the nerve centers function very well, which also symbolizes the three nadis which traverse the spinal column. Only then the mind can be very effective in this world. And that's why all the yogis work on this spinal column, the kundalini, and the strengthening of the mind control. So all that is, I think there's lots of symbolism intertwined in this story. And that is how they are called upon again and again. So I thought I would just...
Perhaps this is the reason why we call a weak person as spineless fellow.
This is true. Because the person cannot accomplish anything.
Yeah.
So
Sorry for it. Just chill.
yes, yes.
Vajra means what?
Vajra means diamond. That means in common parlance, I would say, that
Mhm.
means that's the toughest, hardest material in creation.
So this Vajra Ayuda, was it a specific, like a sword or something like that?
See, no one knows. People have given different shapes to it, but Vajra is so it's generally it's believed to be the spinal column. Okay, so it's something which made of one spinal column. That's a picturization of that Ayuda.
Mm.
But as I said, it is much more symbolic than that. The mind uses the spine, and the nadis which function within that as a source of its strength to accomplish anything in this world. So, but
Sorry,
tradition.
but I didn't get, like, it was a bone of stage Didichi.
The deep.
Dadi, yes, yes.
So
That's
why?
Puranic story, sister.
Oh, okay, okay.
Because Dadichi was very an accomplished yogi.
Hmm.
So his spine is the most powerful. This, that's the supreme one. So that means every mind has to have that weapon for it to function properly. So that comes through discipline and yogic practices.
It's just for the story understanding, because I think I'm in the story mode now. So Lord Indra went to Didichi to get his back, like his bone, his.
Yeah, they I think he sent some emissaries asking for him to part with his backbone.
Backbone.
Because Vishwakarma could take that and make the weapon using that. Okay, so that's understanding. So in modern day, people have used their imagination and drawn various pictures of that Ayudham, but
it will also used in movies. Vajrayudham means if you have it, you can do anything, kind of. You can conquer anything. That's the symbolically.
so that's why Swami has come to the word Rudra also, From an external worldly perspective, people also use, but Swami also equates it to Rudra. Both of them, the count of number is 11. Rudra, the 11 is considered very important, which means the 10 indriyas and the last one is mind. So mind and the 10 indriyas together make up 11. And that's why Rudra is chanted 11, there are 11 anvakams and so on. So there's lots of significance to that. Each anuvaka is supposed to control one of the senses and so on. So those are some of the inner significance of that. So the mind also is same. Indra plus the 10 senses. Mind plus the 10 senses. Rudra is also mind plus the 10 senses. One is externally focused, other one is inwardly focused.
So when the mind controls the senses, then it becomes Rudra.
Yes.
Otherwise, it was called Indra only, because experiencing the outside world, objective world, with these 5 senses, then it is Indra.
So that sentence where it says when we enjoy them or experience them through the
Experience them through the senses, it's called Indra.
when it's saying them, what is that them referring to?
Okay. Okay.
Through the.
So Swami is saying, Indriya Mula Dwara Anubhavint. Swami he's not saying them, okay? He's saying when experienced through the Indriyas, that mind is the Indra.
Oh, when experienced through
Through the Indriyas. So because Indriyas are externally focused, the external world is an assumption.
Oh, okay.
When it's outwardly focused, it's Indra. When it's inwardly focused, Rudra.
Rudra.
So in the second one also, the Indriyas are involved, but you are victorious over the Indriyas. That's what it says. Indriyamulanu jayinchi. That means you win over. I think the translation says master the senses. Yes, Sai Satish, please go ahead.
Saramana, I was just going to say that we have that line, Tena Tyaktena Bunjita Makradatasya Sviddanam. So I
Yes.
think is by after sacrificing, then experiencing it with that full awareness that there is no ownership, I think it becomes Rudra. But when the ownership remains and then experiencing or enjoying, then I think it becomes Indra. So it's about the inward and outward facing. If the inward facing is knowing fully it is the Atman or the Parabrahman who's the one who is doing, enjoying, and receiving, and staying in that part and experiencing the world gives a complete sense of, I think, that detached, but yet doing it with all that professionalism that is needed. So that Rudra aspect, and the other one, of course, is getting attached, which makes one into Indra.
Thank you, Sai Satish.
And the last sentence we read, due to this, in the Vedas, the Indra and Rudra with two names, the glorious Deva is described.
Yeah, and that
Okadevataga means one deity.
Oh, okay.
next
Rudra.
sentence in English, I think. In Telugu, it is written like this. అందువలనే వేదములోని ఇంద్రుడు రుద్రుడు రెండు నామములుగా వైభవము గల ఒకే దేవతగా వర్ణించిది. Yeah, correct. That's the last line.
Yes.
With two names, yeah.
So you said Indra also has a number 11 or something like that?
No, I was mentioning that,
Oh.
Indriya also signifies the 11 because the manas and the 10 Indriyas.
Oh, okay.
Rudra is also manas with 10 Indriyas. That's the 11 number is significant. The whole, the worship of Rudra itself to transform the Indra into Rudra. Transform our mind from a state of Indra to realize the qualities of a Rudra. That's supposed to be the purpose of chanting the Rudra.
So the entire Rudram is really about the mind.
Yes. Inwardly focusing. That's why the Rudra is all about finding divinity in everything externally also. You see, take every object and say, that is Rudra, that is Rudra, that is Rudra. That means every object you see, we try to see the divinity inherent in it. And that through that process, we will be able to recognize. See, that's why Swami has used the word Sarvantaryami Tattvam. That is, when the same Lord is present within every single thing, when the manas is capable of attaining that state of finding the divinity within everything in this world, then that mind is called Rudra. So that is why Rudra describes everything in this world and says that is Rudra, this is Rudra. The Rudra is the indweller, he is the one who makes it happen. So that is to understand the Sarvantaryami Tattva. So that's what Swami says. Indriyamulanu jayinchi తాము వానిలోనికి సర్వాంతర్యామి తత్వం పొందుచున్నప్పుడు.
మనస్సే ఇంద్రుడు.
So that's what Swami says. So it's, I think the translation can master the sense and become aware of the universal inner truth of the multiplicity. All the.
That's correct.
So that's what it is. But basically, find the Lord is present within everything.
That makes sense. Because when I was learning Rudram and then learning Anuvakam, each Anuvaka is telling you are in this, you are in my enemy, you are in this horse, you are in this everything. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
So ideally, when we chant the Rudram, we should be able to recognize the Lord.
That's next step.
So if everyone is okay, maybe we can move
Okay.
on to the next chapter, next slide.
Just a quick question.
Yes.
I guess some languages are like inflected languages, I think, where I think that where the note of the sound makes a difference in the meaning. Like even when you're just speaking a language, like whether they say a sound at high pitch or low pitch, it changes the meaning. But is Sanskrit also like that, or is it just in when it comes to Vedic chanting, that's where the meaning can change?
So the original Sanskrit in Panini, as the way he has described the dhatu, so the verb roots, there is accent. But I think over a period of time, it had it has fallen into disuse. So today, the classical Sanskrit does not differentiate based on accent, whereas the Vedic language still retains that. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah.
I think the only other language which has accent which changes the meaning is Mandarin and Cantonese. Chinese languages also have that accent, and it changes the meaning, even though the letters and the sounds are the same.
So it's not just learning Vedas or Rudras, and it's just how you, as Brother Sai Satish said, same thing is with Gayatri Mantra long time back when I learned, and they said how Swami has taught, that's how it should be recited. Don't change anything because it changed the meaning of it.
Yes, sister. See, going to that Gayatri Mantra you mentioned, many people learn traditionally some accent. And then you come to Swami, and then Swami has chanted with a different accent. That's the reality. So now people are confused. Which one is right? Which one we should follow? And if anyone came to Swami and said, Swami, this is the way we learn, he said, then you chant it that way. See, this is going back to Bharatiya. The previous chapter, Swami says, Bharatiyas don't have to go and find somewhere else anything, what is not found here. I think it applies to what Swami teaches also. See, sometimes we want validation from the external world for what Swami teaches also. See, so we will go and corroborate, we'll try to find out. I think sometimes those challenges, or sometimes people go to other gurus and others also. I think it applies to everything, as we understand.
But it's a little scary because if it changes the meaning, as Brother Sai Satish said, then you have to learn from the right person who can correct you, because it's just Gayatri, you're asking, give me wisdom or whatever, then you're asking, make me ignorant rather than making me wiser, right? So it's so important to learn all the...
So the question is, how do you find out somebody is chanting it right, sister?
Yes.
I'm asking the question.
No, I am just kind of second you. Yes, it's difficult to find that. I guess, I don't know, it's just learning from all these things. You can do so much, and then pray to Bhagawan. That's my only source, that find the right guru for me who I can learn from. I don't know if I answer your question, but thank you.
Just a question, that's all. No answers. See, I think maybe you can put it this way. If somebody has been chanting Vedam properly, that should have brought about some change in that person. Based on the degree of changes which you observe, by close observation, you know this person is doing something right.
Mm.
Then that's the only way to know. People can eloquently, scholarly, say certain things, but that does not carry much weight. So the Vedas, when they are properly recited and chanted, it should have an impact on the person. And with that person, you can learn.
Awesome.
That is, that's that degree you can. That's one. The second one is you pray to Swami to guide, and I think he will guide. Because he's Antaryami. Sire.
Thank you.
So you don't have to be scared. With Swami,
Yeah.
we make sincere effort, fearlessly you chant. Okay, maybe we make some mistakes, we'll be corrected, no problem. That's also part of life. Okay, if everyone is okay, we can progress. Kalyani, any other questions?
About the other gods too, it is possible to quote many such descriptions. Yet ultimately, all descriptions lead to the same conclusion. The Rigs adore deities first as presiding over some function or other. Then these latter get transformed into different names and forms of the one God who has all the worlds in itself, who is the witness, resident in all hearts, and who is the sovereign of all creation. Gradually, all other meanings and reactions are suppressed as not relevant. For example, an element of fear is associated with the deity Varuna. The fear sprouts and spreads in some rigs, but soon the wisdom of the Aryas, noble seekers, subjugates the fear. Many rigs are prayers to Varuna from people afraid of being punished by him for their sins. But the idea of a terrorizing god cannot flourish on Indian soil, nor can many gods of many natures. Bharatiya culture and spiritual outlook upheld the one God or Ishvara.
Okay, thank you, Kalyani. Auntie, we can read the Telugu.
Okay, 1 minute. తక్కిన దేవతలను గూర్చి కూడా ఇట్టి వర్ణనములో ఎన్నైనా ఉదాహరించవచ్చును.
The other gods also, about them, this kind of descriptions in many ways can be described.
Just like in the previous sentence, Indra and Rudra, same name for Devata, just like that. We can give many examples. చివరికి ఒకే విధమున అంతా వర్ణింపబడుచుందురు.
At the end, all of them are described in the same way.
దేవతలుగా ప్రారంభింతురు.
They begin as devatas.
కడకు అఖిల జగత్తు తమయందు కలవారుగా.
At the end, the entire world is within them.
సర్వ హృదయములకు సాక్షిభూతులుగా.
They are the witness of all the hearts.
సర్వలోకాది నాథులుగా పరిణమింతురు.
They are the lords of the entire, all the worlds. That's how they transform themselves, so they evolve.
వరుణుని విషయంలో మరొక భావము.
In the case of Varuna, the god of rains, is also rain, no, Auntie Varuna?
వరుణ్కు కూడా
The god of all waters. Waters. In this case also, there is another feeling.
భయభావము గోచరించును.
There is a sense of fear which comes about.
ఈ భావము అంకుర రూపమున పడచూపెను గాని.
This feeling of fear, which is only in when it sprouts in the early stages.
ఆర్య బుద్ధి దానిని వెంటనే అడగద్రొక్కెను.
The intelligence or the intellect of the Aryans immediately, quickly puts that out.
మరొక చోట కొందరు పాపమనర్చినడి భీతి కలిగి.
In some other times, there may be fear that there can be sin which takes place.
క్షమింపమని వరుణుని ప్రార్థించినట్లు వ్రాయబడేను.
They pray to the Varuna to pardon them. That's the way it is written.
కానీ వానిని హైందవ భూమిలో అభివృద్ధి నొందకుండా చేసిరి.
But this kind of feeling in the Hindu land, they made sure that this does not grow.
ఇందుకు కారణము ఇది ఏకేశ్వర ఆరాధనకు గుర్తు.
The reason for this is that is the understanding that there's only one God, and the worship of that one God.
Yeah. ఈ ఏకేశ్వర సిద్ధాంతము చాలా పురాతన కాలమనే హిందూ దేశంలో ప్రకాశించెను.
This oneness of God, the philosophy of this has from ancient times in this Hindu country, it has been flourishing, or it has been effulgent or shining in this.
Yeah. సంహితా భాగం అంతటిలోనూ ఇదియే వేదములలో ప్రథమమును ప్రాచీనమును అయినది.
I think auntie
ఇంక వరలే అదే
inga varilla inno
okay, sorry, I think I have read it in
yeah
Bharatiya culture and spiritual outlook help the one, that's all. Ishvara, sorry.
yeah okay. So Swami is talking about the evolution of Hindu thought from a sense of fear and so on into something much more sublime in the land of India, or land of Bharat, or in the land of Hindus. That's the way Swami has used it. So I will stop here. If anyone would like to discuss any point, please go ahead.
So at the beginning, this Varuna, Indra, Agni, these were devatas who were in the Vedas. They come in the first Samhitas. Do they? Yeah. So
Yes.
this Ekeshwara Vada was much later brought about, or still people did not have one God, because they were worshipping these gods, and these gods assumed themselves all powers, and they were taking, they were Sarvantariyami Tattvam also, they were taking on their own. So, but of course, Bharatiya spiritualism never allowed these to happen.
Yes, auntie. Anyone else would like to comment or?
Sorry, the second line that we read, I think I've written down at the end, all of them are described in the same way.
Yes.
It was referring to the different devatas. They begin as devatas, but in the end.
Yes.
They assume.
Yes. That's my understanding. Swami is saying, చివరికి ఒకే విధమున అంత వర్ణింపబడుచును.
No, what I think is these gods transformed themselves into they've names and forms of the one God who has all the worlds in itself. That means, did these gods themselves took up the form of one God, or they recognize that there is one God above all of us? Sorry.
I think he's referring all the requests. Difference has a different gods. Varuna Devudu, this Devudu, I mean, this god, that god, like a different. Initially they're all considered as a different gods, but towards the end, everybody realizes they're all one and same, just given a different form or shape, some depending upon what they're doing, something like that. Because we believe in one, there is one God.
I think Swami is
I got, yeah, sorry.
Go ahead.
I'm confused because దేవతలుగా ప్రారంభింతురు కడకు అఖిల జగత్తు తమయందు కలవారుగా. Everything is contained in them.
Within them.
Within them. సర్వ హృదయములకు సాక్షిభూతులుగా సర్వ లోకాది నాథులుగా పరిణమింతురు. So
They evolve.
they must themselves have formed their opinion about them, these devatas. That's what I understand. I don't know.
No, so I think the way I understand, because the devatas itself is what human beings see. See, as human beings, we observe certain phenomena outside, and people were scared, they worried. Then they start worshipping them with fear. Then, through the process of understanding what is within each of them, then they realize that what the principle which comes out as a particular force in the nature or society, in the nature or in the world, I think they realize that there is something which is within them, which is all encompassing.
Oh,
I think so. I think what Swami is striving is, you take an external form, through that form you go into the essence of it, and you find that it's the same one Lord who is actually within that devata. So through that process, through that devata, whether it's Agni or Varuna or Indra, they were able to realize that one God within that. So that is the practice. So you can also say the Lord himself revealed to them, because of their sincere seeking. They revealed to them, even though they worship the external, because of the sincerity and their worship, the Lord, after all, the Vedas is nothing but revelation. So the rishis are basically describing how they started out and how the Lord revealed to them that he is the indweller and he is everywhere. Everything is within him. So I think what Swami is trying to show is, in the land of Bharat, different people have started at a devata point, but they have progressed to understand the one Lord within each of them. And this is what is captured in the Vedas. Yes.
but Arun, this sentence, ఈ భావము అంకుర రూపమున పడచూపనే గాని ఆర్య బుద్ధి దానిని వెంటనే అణగద్రొక్కెను. That means, this idea that they were all, these devatas were all powerful, was gradually, it was suppressed by the Aryan culture. That's what I hear Swami, what he wants to mean.
No, so here, what Swami says, Anagadrokana means the fear has been put out, Auntie. E bhavam, what is that bhavam?
Yeah,
The bhaya bhavam, you understand?
Bhaya
The bhaya bhavam was put out.
Okay.
See, e bhavamu ankur rupamuna
పడచూపెను గాని.
chupenu gani. So when this bhava shows up, so it's nipped in the bud. The way I understand. So what is nipped in the bud is the bhaya bhava. When this bhaya bhava sprouts, okay, without delay, it has been put out by the Arya Buddhi. The Buddhi of a noble Buddhi, which can means people who are already experienced or who are well-developed Buddhi. They put this out and say, look here, you don't have to be afraid. Because the Lord is all-powerful. He's the one who is driving it. So the externally focused one, without understanding the Ekeshwara Tattva, the one God within, only then you will have fear. Which also means, Ekeshwara means the same one when it's present within you also. Then there's no, as Swami says, only when there's two, there's fear. When there's only one, there's no fear. That's the Ekeshwara. I understand.
So people, they were giving all these attributes to these devatas.
Exactly.
So then, but our culture was strong enough to put down that fear and then give them secure feeling.
So the evolution is not that God evolves, but it's our perception of God evolves?
Yes, Kalyan. Through the use of buddhi, the Arya buddhi, when it's used, it is evolution takes place.
Aryan is not referring to a certain set of people. It's like
No.
referring to noble buddhi.
Noble. That's another thing which
Con-
the Aryan invasion theory and all that. Arya means that which is noble. The noble buddhi is the meaning. It is not the buddhi of the Aryans. I guess.
So this
I know,
is
but
like,
unfortunately, even the translation, it says wisdom of the Aryans has been used. But I would take objection to that translation. Because it's not the Aryans. It is the Arya, means the noble people. Because otherwise, the translation can be misread into, some Aryans who came from the north or something like that. Yeah.
In fact, in those days, a husband used to be addressed as Arya, Aryaputra, Arya, noble soul, noble person. Just like Swami gave Dharmapatni, Grahalakshmi, all those titles to women. Women used to address their husbands with Arya, Aryaputra.
so just like, I guess how this evolution, I guess, happens for us as well. Like our perception of God in our mind undergoes an evolution through time.
Yes, of course. Our own understanding of the definition of God also undergoes lots of changes. Depending on where we, what our level of growth is.
So the Rig Veda has the most primitive, in a sense, like thoughts, I guess, in all of the Vedas.
Yes, Rig is considered the most ancient. So it captures some of the early understanding of the seekers. But very soon, within Rig Veda itself, this Ekeshvara Tattva is propounded. That's what Swami is trying to say.
Is the Rudram in the Rig Veda?
Rudram, the Rudram we chant is from Yajurveda, Samhita. Samhita, not the Upanishad, Samhita, but within Samhita, it's considered an Upanishad. Rudra Upanishad. But it's from Krishna Yajurveda Samhita section. But the Rudram of Rig Veda also has its own Rudram, but not the one which we chant.
Oh,
Okay.
What's interesting that the whole, like, even all of these early thoughts are also still considered, Veda, and still given importance and not just erased or.
Yes, very true. This way Swami in the previous one also said, every form of worship is valid. It's valid because it's at a different stage of evolution, different stage of understanding. Yes, Auntie, you want to say something?
Shabda Pramana, I wanted to say.
Okay, Auntie.
Shabda Pramana was Swami also said in the beginning itself.
I have a question. In this English version, the rigs adore deities first as presiding over some function or other. So here in Innivel is talking about rigs adore deities. The rigs adore deities. The rigs pray deities, right? But in Telugu, I think the rigs come in as a devata first. I think he was referring that the rigs come in as a devata. I think they would be considered as devatas by people. Right? Is it right, Auntie? I don't think the translation.
Rig is the mantra of Rig Veda. For a yaga regna, the deities were invited. They were praised as Rigs from Rig Veda. Yajurveda praised them as Yajus. And Samaveda, that Udgatri, who used to sing these Yajurveda mantras in a musical way. That's how they were invited for the yagnas which they used to perform. All the Vedas were represented there. Rug, Yajus, Sama, and Atharvana. All the four. So in fact, one of the scholars say that all the Vedas were in a complete one form. It has been divided only because of this purpose of offering our the whole life as our yajna. So yajnas were performed as a sacrifice.
I think what I was
No,
saying is
I
the
think
Riks.
I will read the Telugu, brother. You can read.
Yeah.
Pratama munane manakoka vinta bhavamu kana vachunu. Okay. Iviye irukulu. So Swami says, in anything, at the first instance, we will have some wonder. A sense of wonder, a thrill of wonder or whatever. And this expression of this wonderment became
Yes.
riks. Iviye irukulu. So that means the way we perceived, and that, aha, oh, whatever you want to call it, that became rik.
Rik.
Okay. That means they are tejo rupamulanu gurchinavi. They understood this, tejo rupa. And the expression of that is rik.
In the next time, Telugu, Pradvamuna, they'll
మనకొక్క వింత భావము కనవచ్చును. మనకొక్క వింత భావము కానవచ్చును.
The next there is a Pradhamamga, right? Something.
Yeah, Pratama munane. That's the first sentence, first word.
Okay.
So at the beginning, or at the start, manakoka vinta bhavamu kanavachu. See, anything we encounter for the first time, when it sounds, oh, this is something great or wondrous,
Yeah.
I think when we express that is the expression of rik. So when the rishis found something, so they expressed. Yes, Auntie.
Yeah. In fact, the deities Rama, Krishna, Shiva, Maruti, and Devis, they were all great later devatas. In the Vedas, in the beginning, only because they encountered the nature. When they saw the nature, there was such a huge sheet of water, samudram, and then they saw the huge mountains, the Varuna, and Varuna represent the water sheets, and Vayu, the air which was coming. So these were the natural elements. When they saw them, they were in a great wonder, and they started praising them in Ruk mantras. That's how, yeah.
My confusion is in English, is Riks being adored as deities, or the Riks are adored deities? Is it according to Telugu translation? I was thinking, should we say is Riks being adored as deities?
I don't, neither in Telugu nor in English, brother, that kind of thought is coming.
Okay.
Because he is asking this question. Anaga tejo rupamulunu gurchinavi. That Rik itself took the form, he says.
Oh, I see.
That's why he is asking.
Anaga tejo rupamulanu gurchinavi.
That's why he is asking.
Yeah. Means it gave a sense of tejas, that's so you can see, very, very good question, but because in Sanskrit, that Auntie was telling about Shabda Pramana. That means the pada is the Shabda, the artha is the object. So the names themselves are considered equivalent to the object which is represented by. So for example, they will say Rama Nama is as powerful or maybe more powerful than Rama himself. So in that sense, even the names or the words were considered gods themselves. So Vedas are also called God. Veda itself is God because it is not considered separate. So I don't know whether that answers your question.
But as far as this thing goes, Rik is a mantram, isn't that?
It's a mantra.
Rik is a mantram.
Poetic mantra. Rik is nothing but poetry.
Poetry.
So
it attains the rupa of mantra rupam. Mantra itself has got a form in it.
So if the Rik is mantra, Rik adore deity means mantra praises God. Is
God.
it?
Yeah.
Mantra, yes, describes the God, but mantra itself becomes God.
Yeah.
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 Mantra is
Tejo
because it means Brahmavit, Brahma iva bhavati. You know,
Bhavati.
Okay.
one who knows Brahman becomes Brahman. So
Okay.
if the mantra knows Lord, mantra is Lord.
So anyway, what we're saying is initially mantras praises God, but mantra itself is a God. That's what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So when I read in English, Rick's adore deity is Rick is like a persona. So I was thinking Rick's praise deity. Ricks are also deity. I was confused there. Now I have some clarity. Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
But God has been described as mantra swarupudu.
Yeah.
He is. We often come across this word. Bhagawan is mantra swarupudu.
Yes, Sai Satish, please go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to say that we say mananat trayate iti mantraha. So, I think it's a process which also helps one to cross over and finally realize that there is no difference between what is being chanted and to whom it is being chanted. So that
Yes.
way becomes the same thing. Yeah.
Thank you, Sai Satish.
So even the second part, the fear of sin, even that feeling, like the Arya Buddhi, like that, it would put away that feeling as well.
Yes, okay. Very good question, Kalyan. So Kalyan's question is, will the fear of sin also be put out by this Arya Buddhi? Anyone would like to volunteer or to discuss this?
I just want to clarify also the Telugu, that's what it's saying, right? And
Yeah, so I'm saying Maraka Chota, Kondaru, Papa Monarchiti Manedi, Iti Kaligi, Shaminpu Mani, Varnuni Pratinchunatlu, Vrayabadenu.
It's written.
Ani Vanini Haindava Bhumilo, Abhivritti Nonda
Kunda chesi.
Chesil. So that means in the land of Hindu religion, this was not allowed to grow, the fear. Yes, Kalyan. Sai Satish.
Sorry, I was just going to take the episode of same Lord Krishna lifting up the Govardhanagiri on his little finger. So the whole episode, how it turned around the fear of Lord Indra to love of God, or even in terms of worshipping the Govardhanagiri itself, which is the source of sustenance, and seeing that absolute reflected in that mountain. So how it changed the fear aspect to the love part. So Swami, like what we were discussing in the morning as well, Daiva Preeti, Papa Bhiti. Swami says it gets swapped these days. It becomes Daiva Bhiti and Papa Preeti kind of a thing. So I think that's where the love for God should be there and fear of sin should be there, rather than fear of God and love for sin. So that aspect of the story itself encompasses what it is to have that Arya Buddhi, to see that divine being all pervasive and as a source of sustenance in the Govardhanagiri, and to worship it with that reverence, is what Krishna ultimately changed the mindset of the people of Gokul to develop more than fear of God, love for God, which will really become a source of sustenance for everything.
Correct.
yeah, it's funny because Swami often talks about Papa Bhiti. That's why I wonder, is that such a bad feeling to have? Because it's saying they put out that feeling also.
Because Daiva Priti takes care of Papa Bhiti, because there won't be any Papa left. Once, see, the fear of, Swami would say, if there's something we have done, we have to face the consequences. the person who identifies oneself with the Atman is not worried about that also. But this instruction is only applicable to people who have not yet reached that state. Until we reach that stage, we should have fear of sin. But how do we overcome that sin is by identifying divinity everywhere. So I think even Bhaya Bhakti also they say,
Yeah.
Swami has used that word also before. So I think.
And just to add to the conversation, it's a great question. Should we have fear of sin? I think when I'm reading a sentence, my understanding is there's no punishment by God. You have to read the consequences of your own action. So you should have fear of your own action because that keeps you alert. Am I saying the right thing? Then you know, in simple words, practical, you will think before you speak. You will say before you speak. You do before you do anything because you're saying, is it pious? Will Bhagawan do it? Keep that. So I'm just thinking, we think he will punish. There's no him or this is your own karma. This is your own action that you have to reap. So you have to be fearful of your own action. That's how I am putting that. So,
Thank you very much, sister. Thank you. Anyone else would like to discuss?
When we were talking about how Indra and Rudra represent the mind, and then how these devatas undergo transformation, so does that mean our mind itself becomes God, or
Will become Rudra. So I think the mind, does it become Rudra? I think that's the question you're asking. Does the mind, it can become Rudra. Rudra actually nothing but which can channel the divinity in this world. I think to that extent, it's after all the mind also is God in the ultimate analysis. But I think it is transforming that mind to that original state of blemishlessness is, I think, what matters, is my understanding. So to that extent, mind, when it channels the inner self which is present within, I think it's as good as divine. Yes, Sitaram, please go ahead.
Sairam. So just joined in the last minute, but I think this looked like a continuation of what we started in the morning. Based on Swami's discourse, Swami mentions mind is the reason for both performing a sin as well as a merit. It makes you believe that it's a sin or merit. That is because we identify ourselves with the mind. So this Daiva Preeti and Papa Bhiti, how I am seeing it is, as long as we are identifying with our mind, there is a liking and there is a dislike. So you have a like towards something called God and you have a dislike or fear towards something called sin. The moment Swami tells die mind to become diamond, right? Swami uses that pun for diamond. The moment the mind is becoming one with the Atman, which is to say we are identifying ourselves not with the body or mind, but with Atman, then suddenly you become that Daiva. And there is complete absence of Preeti nor Apriti or Apriti. In the same way, Bhiti or Preeti. So in that way, you are, as I think Anna was mentioning earlier, as long as we are going through this journey from Dvaita to Advaita, we must ensure we have Daiva Preeti as the first step, and rest will follow, is what Swami has always told. So I'll stop there. I thought I'll just share that. Of the feeling of duality is because we are having mind in between. The moment the mind dies, we are one with divine. Sairam.
Thank you very much, Sitaram. Thank you.
where do you all go in the morning that you have so wise discussion that I'm not part of?
So I don't know. Sister, the thing is, what happens is every Thursday we stream a discourse of Swami, and then that is taken up for study cycle. So that's where
Okay.
Okay,
I'm
so
like,
you can.
everybody's going somewhere in the morning.
No, it's I think they are referring to the center which they attend.
It's
They are thinking it's a continuation. But the Thursdays we stream a discourse of Swami which is taken up for study in every Sunday at our center. So they are referring to that. Sorry that
No. I was, I'm a little visual. I was imagining it's a
there
gufa
is
that
a,
everybody goes in and comes out wiser out of that gufa.
you can come.
I
I
can
don't know
do
whether we may seem wise, but I don't know how.
it. Like, yeah.
Yes,
so that applies to Bhaya Bhakti also. What Brother Sitaraman said. Bhaya, as far as we are identifying with the mind, when we start identifying with the Atman, then even that Bhaya goes. Bhakti comes first. Bhakti takes the prominent place.
Both goes, right? Both goes off, I guess, right? Because when you become Atma, you and God are same. So there is no
difference.
You are God itself, right?
see, one meaning of bhakti is, see, when there's vibhakti, there's separation. Bhakti means there's no vibhakti. There's no separation. Actually, union with God is bhakti. So from bhaya is duality, bhakti is actually unity.
Yeah.
You become one with the Lord, ultimate merger. But the transformation.
Even to merge with the Lord, Bhakti, we need a few exercises before we reach that space, that place.
So bhakti is a state, or is it a noun or verb? Just like God, right?
Yes.
Chaitanya, continuous, continuum,
It starts as a verb, I think it ends as a
noun.
I think Brother Dasan actually became and then he left.
No, Sai Ram, brother.
He's there.
I'm here, yeah. Just add to the point, brother. Some people scared because something they are, what do you call, the end of the season of the agriculture, if they don't get proper rain and everything, they think it's a sin and they pray the Varna. But they don't need to scare to Varna because God is one. They are the name only given to different thing, but God is one. So there is no scary thing in our religion, because some people might think, oh, we have to pray to Varna, then he's going to resolve the problems and something like that. That is, I think that is not the right way of understanding for some people in the olden days. And God is one, only one God everywhere. Thank you, Brother Sai Ram.
Sairam. So it's 4:31. I think we will close the session today and we'll continue next week. We'll close with Samastaloka prayers. Sairam. Om Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sairam, everyone.
Sai Ram, brother.
Sai Ram, thank you.
Sai Ram.